what she explained to me was really interesting because she's sitting with a condition that's not being diagnosed by doctors. It's like they can't quite put their finger on what the issue is. Got it. So let's do a demo on that, because you will get clients where they'll come to you and they'll be like, I don't know what this is, you know, people have given up on me, and often that's why they come to us as alternative practitioners, to come for that alternative answer, because they can't find any more answers. So it's good that there's still, you know, organizations left to give that bit of support and hope, where other people, especially if the medical system kind of just does this to you, it's not the most pleasant feeling. Okay. So, right. So let's start the demo. So we don't quite know what we're working on. All that we know is that it's physical pain. We're assuming that it's the sciatic nerve, or it could be the muscles, it could be the fascia, it could be, at this point it could be anything. And ultimately what we're going to do here is we're not really going to diagnose it, but see if we can get down to the psychosomatic root causes of that, and see if we can shift and relieve the pain that's there. So, Amelia.
Hello.
Hey, thank you so much for volunteering. It's really great.
Thank you.
And also for you watching here, welcome for joining us here. We are here in London. A big hello from the audience. Hello. We're having a lot of fun here. Wish you were here. So, and we know you're not, so we're filming this video for you guys that also would love to learn. And so, Amelia, let's start. What I would like to know, when did this condition start?
So it was about 4 years ago, I think, and I was in a relationship with my ex-boyfriend.
Ah.
And there was a lot of drama there. I was also working a job that I didn't really enjoy, and I kind of found him a job in the same place as me. So now we're working together. Now
so
the drama from the relationship is at the
it
job.
Followed
as well.
you.
Yes.
Back then, or still to this day?
No, today it's not.
Okay,
that
but back then.
situation at
Okay,
all.
got it. Oh my God, that would suck.
Yeah.
So it started 4 years ago. Okay. So tell me a little bit more about the actual pain. How would you describe it, and where is it?
So it's centered usually like on the right side.
So right side, got
Lower
it.
back goes down to the glutes,
Okay.
but it also extends up to the spine and the nerves here.
Oh, got it. And when you touch the muscle right there, does it hurt as well?
Yes.
Ah.
All the muscles actually in this area.
Mhm.
These muscles, also the buttocks muscles.
It feels like a contraction, like it contracts. Is that
Yeah.
what it feels like? Does
Yeah.
it spasm, or is it just
Sometimes,
like
yeah.
a dull pain that's always there?
That also.
Got it.
Like it's always there, it's always dull, but sometimes it
It's-
spasms. And sometimes it's usually activated by cold often.
Got it.
Or if I have like a backpack kind of hitting the space here on my lower back, then it
Got it.
kind of turns
Okay.
into more of a nerve pain.
Oh gosh, my handwriting. Huh. So I'm just wondering, have you noticed any patterns? I'm just curious, just observing any patterns, emotional states and stress that you feel when you do feel the actual spasming of it. I acknowledge the pain that's there, but I'm just curious, have you noticed like any stress that you would feel when it would start spasming? And not necessarily at the moment when it starts spasming, but kind of like a day or two leading up to the spasm kind of starting.
I haven't noticed an exact pattern
Got it.
nowadays, but
Because that's perfect. Because ultimately, when you're looking at a situation where there's pain, you know that there's unresolved anger. Every single time, from the thousands of people that I've worked with, there's always unresolved anger. But then it begs the question, why is the anger there? And now we're looking at the right-hand side, from the back down to the lower back. So already we're looking at the right-hand side, which is masculine father figure in the MAT language. We're looking at the area here where the muscles are, but the spasming, which is also where we would store actually on both sides, left and right, but on the right-hand side where we would store sexual anger, sexual stress. It could be anything relating to inability to have children, really wanting to have children, but you can't, and there's anger and resentment as a result of that. And the common one, as we all know, is financial stress. So knowing what we know there, and also with the book, can you just hand that one? If you work with the book in volume 1, you already have a very clear answer of that. I didn't look at it because I wrote it, everything's already in my head. So from what I observed by just her answers to me, already tells me clearly it started 4 years ago when she was with a partner. Male, right-hand side. Clearly there was intimacy, there was communication. Muscles, it's also about rigidity, but it's also about communication, especially if it's here in the area where she's telling me that there's a lot of nerve endings as well. The fascia is there as well. But it sounds more like the nerve and the muscles are both playing a role here. So it sounds to me like a conflict between a feeling of rigidity and communication and an inability to communicate clearly what it is that you want. I kind of feel like when you're angry, when you say what you do say what you need to say, you have no problem doing that. But I feel that when you do, it's just blah. It's like you're so fired up that you can't articulate and clearly voice and express what it is that you want to say in order to constructively deal with a conflict. If anything, it's just like a bomb that explodes, and then you have to clean up the mess afterwards.
It resonates.
Yeah. Okay, so what I would like to look at, so this partner triggered it, so let's have a look at what he triggered, because he's just a part of the symptom, a ripple effect, that kind of just help you to, put that cherry on top of the last little bit of piece of a threshold that your body had, of a certain emotional pattern or state that you couldn't handle internally and unconsciously anymore, and he triggered that threshold for you to kind of show like, you've been suppressing this, you haven't been looking at this, and it's time that we have a look at it. But it's been going on for so long now that it's time to kind of let go of it. Yeah. All right. So let's have a look. So with this guy, I'm just really curious, when you met him, I'll explain this in a minute. When you met him, what was the emotional need that you had at the time when you met him? What did you want from a partner at that time?
That's actually funny because I had been planning to move to another country to study, but I didn't know where. And then when I met him, 2 months after we've been together, he said, I'm going to Denmark. And I sort of followed. So I think the emotional need that I had even before I met him was...
You were looking for someone to show you the way as well.
Yeah. Also, I guess. But yeah, I kind of read it as like a sign of the universe that I need to go there and actually escape where I was.
So you're needing to escape. Got it.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I'm asking this question. She needed to escape. She perfectly created the guy to help her with that opportunity. And then she left. You did leave, right? You didn't go with him, correct? So she left. Now, if you take this set of circumstances and you put it aside, and you take the other set of circumstances when you look at her situation as a child, also of needing to escape, because that pattern comes from probably your childhood as well, right?
Yeah, definitely. I would even, when I'm triggered when I used to be triggered by my parents as a child, I would kind of plan my escape and how I run away from home.
Your grand escape. Right? We all have run away from home, right? Packed your suitcase with just an apple and a book and your favorite toy and you're off. Like, you're set to go. Right. Got it. But was it a feeling or was it sometimes something that you would actually take action on?
No, I was usually just hiding in the closet and looking for when they will kind of go look for me, even though I was still home.
Got it. And so when you were arguing with your partner, your ex-partner at the time, what was your emotional feelings and state during the arguments, and how did you start to feel as the relationship started deteriorating?
So when we were arguing, I felt like I couldn't really express myself properly, and when I did, it wasn't received well, and he actually ended up either leaving the room or not really staying in the conflict. So some abandonment there. I also felt very betrayed by him for how he treated me in the work that I actually helped him find.
Got it.
Yeah. Got it. I'm very angry.
Okay. So tell me, how was your relationship with Dad?
I never had one.
Got it. Do you feel that perhaps because you were so in much need of escaping as a child, that great need that you had, and kind of bringing it over to your adult life, and being in this circumstance and picking this guy also, that you perhaps also even chose a guy that was not necessarily in the highest alignment with you, because there was a core focus, conscious or unconscious, but there was a core focus of wanting to get out and needing a change.
Yeah.
And that you'll take the opportunity that comes.
Definitely.
Just to make that change. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there we go. So tell me a little bit about your dynamic with mom, because if it was just mom that was there, then ultimately we tend to create certain aspects of dominant issues, traumas, and patterns and pain factors. We tend to unconsciously recreate that in our future relationships because the father was absent, so it was just the mom there. So in her case, I would be asking, let's have a chat about your dynamic with mom. So what was your relationship like with her? Just to get a bit of background. Yeah, I'm just looking for patterns because this is what it's all about.
My mom was very emotionally unstable, kind of even dangerous at times. We never really had that.
So that's where the escape that I'm feeling is coming from. Okay, got it. Okay, because there was no other parent to buffer against.
Right.
Yeah.
So just unsafe environment.
Got it.
Even though I lived with my grandma as well, grandma and mom and me.
Got it.
And
how was grandma? How did she show up in the dynamic between you and mom?
she was trying to protect me, but often she couldn't
only do
because
so
she's
much,
a grandma. So actually, we've even had times where I had to defend my grandma against my mom.
Wow. Okay. Right.
So I have been.
So mom was the dominant one.
When she felt, unstable,
Got it.
she could get aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, how well did you communicate yourself to mom? What was there? I mean, I can only assume and guess based on what you said that there was a lot of stress associated with communication, which is nerves.
Yeah. I think with time I learned to fight back.
Got it.
So a lot of
So there was. So what I'm hearing is that there was a massively strong triggered fighting instinct and anger merged with communication because that's how you were heard.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? Communicating with a lot of anger, again, nerves, but also it's on the right-hand side. You think, so where's the father? I don't feel it's because of the absence of the father. I feel that the nerves and the communication and the anger aspect is on the right-hand side because she had to step into her masculinity so much to draw her power from that in order to stand up to her mom from a very young age.
Yeah.
That's just like a really general assumption that I'm making here. So we'll kind of flow with it. We'll see where this takes us. Got it. Okay. Okay. So I just quickly want to revisit your partner, the ex-partner that you were dating at the time. And just tell me, is there anything else that kind of like really stands out for you in your dynamic with him? Like, what was the relationship like? Was it
Our relationship was all about escape also.
Right.
We
Right.
just escaped daily responsibilities and
Right. Yeah, but you would because you've already had to take emotional and responsibilities and so many aspects of your life from such a young age that when you eventually grow up, it's like you've had enough of it because you're so burnt out by it that if anything that you want to do is you need a break from it. Because it's so hardcore programmed in the foundation of your upbringing. But when it's part of your foundational upbringing, you can almost feel like you're trying to run away from your own shadow because it's always there. No matter what action you take, there's a temporary relief called instant gratification. 5, 10 minutes, 20 minutes later, the old pain is back. And then the escapisms start again. Right?
yeah,
So it's a loophole.
pretty much.
Do you feel that you're still in that pattern where you feel the need to escape?
I feel like I broke it this summer.
Nice.
Actually.
Nice. So this could pretty much be like a residue
Yeah.
of
I
that.
hope so,
Yeah. Got it. Okay. So let's have a look. And this is also really important. Sometimes someone can actually successfully heal something or overcome, a cause of what their ailment is, but the cellular memory of that is not releasing properly. So that could mean that there's just a few little bits and pieces that could perhaps just be deep in the unconscious mind that just needs to be tapped into and released. Okay. Or it could be that a trauma cycle is still stuck and it's not completing properly, and that's all that's needed in order for the full process to really gently integrate. Okay. So I'm just looking for maybe about 2 more stress factors
With the boyfriend?
Yeah, the
Yes.
ex guy. Because I mean,
So-
if that's the trigger point, then
Yeah. So apart feeling totally betrayed, I also felt very. I guess I kind of felt like minimized by him, humiliated. If it
There
makes
we
sense.
go. Got it. I just want to revisit the betrayal because I feel a bit stuck on that one. And the only reason why my head's going there is because I can only imagine, because I did grow up with the dad, kind of, but he was physically there, but I didn't see him, but yours was absent.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, do you feel there could be a link between the betrayal of the ex-partner, the feeling of betrayal, and the betrayal of your father being absent, feeling betrayed by him not being there, not showing up?
Yeah.
As the, okay, got it, as the date. Because I just feel this betrayal, I really feel zoned in on this, that it doesn't look like a big deal, but I feel that the betrayal is it can go quite deep, because this ex-partner just reinforced that feeling of, I'm always betrayed by men.
Yes.
I'm always abandoned by men.
And it's my fault on top
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah. Did mom ever make you feel guilty or responsible for the fact that dad wasn't there, or was she did not
No,
project
but she
that?
never spoke to me about it.
Okay.
Which, I
Leaves
had
you
no
hanging in the
explanation.
middle of nowhere.
So
Got
I'm
it.
making my own stories about it.
Yeah.
I come up with the idea that it's my fault, there's something wrong with me, and
Got it. So you feel the need to punish yourself.
perhaps, yeah.
Do you feel that it could be that you have that pattern because as a child that you were perhaps punished when you just expressed needs or when you had
Yeah.
needs? Yeah.
Definitely. Even
Because-
physically abused.
Yeah. Got it. Because ultimately we treat ourselves the way that we were treated during our childhood. Because that trauma and that pain becomes internalized if there's not a healthy outlet for that. And what happens is, the way that it's internalized does have an outpour at some point, and then it pours back out into your reality. It's constantly like this. And then you see it surfacing in your reality again and again. And that's what also becomes your relationship with yourself. Got it. All right. Doing really good. Almost done. That's supposed to be straight, but we'll work with it. Okay. Got it. Nice. So, with your ex-partner, when you met him and when this whole dynamic played out, what did you emotionally need from him? Or even not even him, but from the dynamic, from the circumstances. I feel more the circumstances.
Yeah. It is the
Because that's what you were attracted to. It's not
Right.
even him, it's the circumstances.
Exactly.
The circumstances were
Yeah.
more sexy than the partner, right?
That's true.
Yeah. Got it. So
I
tell
needed
me.
a lot of presence from him, just like physical and emotional presence, which he couldn't give me. I needed someone to support me.
So which emotional need really stands out to you? Which one is like the dominant one for you when you look at that?
Support.
Got it. And also, when you look at that dynamic, can you please tell me what were the instincts? What instinct do you feel there?
Fight.
Uh-huh.
And also flight, I think.
Run away? Got it. Got it. And so right now you are aware of the pain that's there. Got it. Is it the pulsating one, like the spasming, or just the dull pain?
Just
that
the
you-
dough right now.
Got it. Got it. And more or less out of 10, I'm just trying to get an idea for like how bad it is. Like 10 is like through the roof and 0 is like it's not there.
Right now it's maybe about 6.
Got it. Okay, so you seem to have customized it pretty well
I've
because you sit here as
normalized
cool
it.
as a cucumber
Yeah.
saying, yeah, 6 out of 10. That would be pretty bad for me. Okay, but that just shows you how her threshold also
Yeah.
becomes, higher. Got it.
Totally.
Okay. Interesting enough, because the threshold for dealing with trauma and stress as a child also became higher, hence why she ended up flipping to the fighting mode instead of being the peacekeeper. Got it. Okay, so when you feel into this pain in the area from down here to up here, is everything that you're feeling there inside the body, or do you feel some aspects that's outside of the body?
It's inside.
Got it. And also just one last question. If that pain had a voice, if it had something to spontaneously say, what would it be?
I just hear something like that I need to be strong and that it's too much, that I need to be that.
So it's too much to be strong?
Yeah.
Got
Like
it.
I need to constantly, be that strong presence for whatever is it. For survival, I guess.
And how does it make you feel when you hear that? That I need to be strong?
Exhausted.
Yeah, it is exhausting. What else?
Makes me feel like I need to perform, like I can't be who I am.
So what would happen if you were who you just are?
Might be rejected.
And then?
Alone.
Very good. Got it. Sorry, this goes here. Nice. I just feel there's one small little aspect that's still a little bit missing, that I don't feel we're 100% complete to start the process. Do you know of any history in the family where they have muscle problems or chronic pain or...
That will be my grandma.
Oh, what does she have?
Well, she actually has a lot of back issues as well. Actually, me as a child, she often asked me to apply creams on her back to soothe
Was
her
it the
pain.
whole back, or do you remember, was
All
there a
over.
specific... Wow, so
All
from
over,
top
yes.
to bottom.
Mostly like mid to lower.
Do you know what grandmother's relationship was like with granddad? Do you know?
Really, really bad.
Oh.
Like he was highly abusive person, like physically, emotionally.
So there was a reason why I asked that, because what I felt was, and why I just kept asking a little bit more questions, is that this is a very strong predisposition that was triggered. It wasn't necessarily something that actually started with her. And normally when we look at predispositions, the first place that I normally go to is in the third generation, meaning on the maternal side. So we're going to go to mom's mom, which was her grandmother, who was in that abusive relationship. So clearly that already goes without needing to ask any further. So how was her communication skills to her husband? We can already pick that from hearing what it was like and seeing how the patterns, in a psychosomatic pattern in terms of emotions and how she communicated herself, how there was already a strong predisposition for that. Okay, so, and also we look at that because she already existed in her mom when her mom was in her mother's womb. So the abuse and the trauma and the impact of that is already recorded and anchored in very strong.
Yeah, she was also alive during times of war, so
Oh wow.
a lot of
Got it.
trauma.
Conflict,
there.
yeah. So much inner conflict. Got it. Phew. You really got a good family DNA lineage
Yay.
there. That's intense. Okay. You're doing great. You're doing really good. Is there one more thing? I just want to go back there one more time. Let's just give it one more go. So apart from I need to be strong, do you feel that that is what your grandmother said to herself?
Oh yes. She was taking care of,
Nice.
her children, her children's children, in times of war.
So now I have to ask you, who's really saying that I have to be strong? Is that your grandmother speaking through you, or is it you?
Could be both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both coming together.
Yeah.
Got it.
She always told me life is difficult and you need to fight. And,
Setting you up for some stuff
yeah. Success.
there. Some hard success. Okay, no, you're doing great. You're doing good. Okay. Got it. I just want to have a look here. Nice. Don't worry if you can't see there right now. I will go through everything with you closer to the end as well. Whew. You ready?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So what we're going to do now, based on the structure, I'm going to start the emotional healing. We're going to do the acknowledgements, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do more acknowledgements and work around the grandmother and the overflow, the identity overflow of that, genetically, emotionally, and psychologically. You ready?
Yeah.
How do you feel right now, just before we even started?
A little nervous.
Nervous, and what
Yeah.
else? That's okay.
Kind of excited also, because I feel like we're onto something.
Yeah, yeah. But what's the nervousness about? I'm just curious. Just nervousness, nerves, I'm just curious.
I don't know, I guess there is an aspect of me that's kind of like, what if I let go of it? Yeah.
So what in your life will change that you're not ready to change if you did let go of the pain?
Well, then I have to give up my victim mentality.
So it's victim mentality, but do you also feel, I just want to make a suggestion here because there's something else that I'm sensing there as well. Do you feel that the physical pain that you're feeling is actually also distracting you from the real emotional pain that you're in? Because you've been through a lot.
Yeah, could be, yeah.
Because that's something to focus on instead of focusing on the pain that you're feeling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's not conscious, it's unconscious. It can become a secondary gain. Because, I mean, no one wakes up in the morning saying, I want this pain, I don't want to deal with my emotions. No one does that.
Yeah.
That's an unconscious secondary gain often that the body can create because it can't emotionally cope with the stress. So if there's a distraction, it reaches out to the distraction. Got it. Okay. Got it. All right. Feels good. Let's go. Here we go. So what I would like you to do is just take a deep breath. Exhale. There we go. When you're ready, you can gently come back to me. How are you?
Alright.
How was
just
that?
feel like this part kind of twitching, something going on.
Good?
Also in my face, like this part of the face, like my nose and here.
Nice. So sinuses and stuff, there's
Yeah.
movement? Okay.
Weird.
Interesting. So what else was your experience? How do you feel? What did you see? What was it like?
I got really emotional when the grandmother stuff came up, and just really felt like I needed to protect her. And yeah, I just really remembered how I would try to heal her back and put, lotions, but also just giving her the thing she needed the most, but she never had. And then I guess I just picked up on it also. And maybe I learned that at the time, having pain is kind of a interesting way to get support
Part of
from
being,
others.
but also part of being strong. I can power through
Yeah,
anything. It's like,
also,
I
yeah.
can be strong, I can do this.
Yeah, because it makes sense because she has so much pain throughout her whole body, and she kept on working until she was 80 years old.
Wow.
Intense physical work also. So.
Do you know if she had fibromyalgia? Was she diagnosed?
She's still alive actually, but
Oh, you should ask her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
please ask
should,
her.
Yeah, but she actually once while she was at work, she fell down from some stairs or something, and there's something really bad that happened. Like she broke a disc or something. I don't know.
And when that happened,
I was there.
oh, you were
I was
there.
there.
I felt such a strong need to say trauma transfer.
I was
I'm
there.
glad I did.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Got it, okay. So how do you feel now? Dun,
Still
dun,
processing.
dun.
Good.
What makes you feel that you are still processing?
Because I have really hard time focusing and speaking.
Okay, got it. You're doing great, you're doing great.
Yeah.
You're doing good. And how's the leg, how's the hip, how's the back?
It feels more fluid, I think. Like
How's the
not
pain?
as contracted as before.
And how's the pain?
Like it's still somewhat there, but I don't feel it so intense anymore.
So how strong would you say the pain is?
Maybe about 2 right now.
Nice. So if that 2 out of 10, the pain that's 2 out of 10 had a voice, what would it say to you now? Take your time, let's connect with it. Let's just hear what the body's trying to say.
Take care of myself, and not push too hard.
Ah.
Rest when I need to.
Loving myself. Glad that one came up. Because right now your relationship with yourself is, I wouldn't say destructive, but it used to be.
Yeah.
Very destructive. It's like your way of loving yourself is by just putting yourself through absolute, a tremendous amount of challenges that would constantly challenge you psychologically, spiritually, and emotionally. And yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's do it. Okay, when you're ready, you can gently come back to me. Step out of the room. How are you?
Good.
How was that?
Relief.
What did you hear, feel, see, or sense?
I felt like, most of the things I do is pushing me to the limit.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Because you need the adrenaline in order to
Yeah.
take action. That's your motivator.
Yeah.
But it's also realizing now that you can take action when you want to, not when you actually create a challenge where you feel like you're being pushed up against the wall.
Right.
Because that's also where that's also the same place where you used to express your boundaries from.
Yeah. Pretty much. So now it's like desire to just be more gentle and express without this challenging circumstance.
Beautiful, nice. Because that's your natural state anyway, so that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And how's your leg and your back feeling?
Good. Yeah. Better.
What would you say it's like now?
I would say it's gone right now in that
Nice.
particular moment.
Alright.
I'm gonna keep observing.
Yeah,
during
absolutely.
the
Just
next
keep
few
observing
days.
it for the next 7 days. You can go up and down, so don't be alarmed when you do, but you're going to stay in touch anyway in the next 7 days during the integration process, because let's be done with that,
Yeah.
right? So, nice. And emotionally, how do you feel?
Calm.
Nice.
And really that sense of relief. Like,
Nice. Well done. Give her a thunder round of applause. Thank you so much. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for trusting me with the process.
Thank you.
Thank you.